Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Minds Online Empowering Women series. Today, I am alone. Jessica is not with us tonight, but she is definitely with us in spirit. But I am so excited to introduce you to a wonderful, wonderful woman, the Instagram expert herself. She is amazing, and she's going to drop us some amazing nuggets about Instagram for business. So without further ado, I would love to introduce everyone to Sue B. Zimmerman. How are you doing today, Sue B?
Hey, it's so good to be with you again, my good friend. It's awesome to be here.
Well, I am so honored that you are here on the show and are going to speak to the audience about such wonderful nuggets as Instagram for business. And I'm just going to go ahead and get right on into the questions. So tell us how you started with Instagram.
Well, actually, it was my twin teenage daughters that brought it to my attention. We were on vacation in Belize, and they were on their phones, literally scrolling when I try to get their attention, and they were not talking to me like teenagers typically do. And when I asked them what they were doing, and then they quickly said, "Mom, don't get on Instagram because then you're going to start teaching it." I knew that I needed to understand it because at the time I had a store on Cape Cod in Massachusetts where I sold clothing, jewelry, and accessories. And like any other small business owner, I was always looking for ways to get more traffic in the door at my store. And as someone who taught social media during the off season, I was very versed in Twitter and Facebook and Foursquare and all other social platforms, but I wasn't yet using Instagram. So I started using Instagram and just fell in love with the platform because I am a visual thinker and I love visual storytelling, and it was just a really fun platform to be on. And the magic happened when I empowered my employees to get on Instagram and make it a requirement for them to be posting with purpose on their account. And so it was the collective effort of myself and my 7 employees that made my sales increase 3 summers ago over 40%. And that's when I had the big aha moment where I realized I needed to teach other business owners how to have success in their business.
Wow, that is awesome. 40% with only 8 people? That is phenomenal.
Well, what you need to understand is, yes, so sorry to interrupt you, but what you need to understand is that these are teenagers, and most teenagers on Instagram have 500 to, 1,000 friends because that's what they do all day, right? And so by posting on their account, I was able to leverage the power of having them be like brand ambassadors or buzz agents, I like to call them, because my store name is Subi Doo. So it was really just making it part of the job description, and it worked for both of us because they loved being on their phones, and I loved seeing more people come in the store and spending money.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Now, you were saying the buzz agents, that is very, very important because a lot of people just think that, okay, I'm just going to post whatever on my page and then that's going to bring the traction. But I'm sure that that's not true. Seeing that a business owner should be posting, or how should they be leveraging their audience?
Well, I think it's really important for every business owner, first and foremost, to have what I call the Instagram mindset and to understand that before you get on Instagram, you really need to think about your visual story and your brand, your product, or your service, and what that's going to look like. And it's not just posting one photo at a time. It's the whole feed. How does the whole feed look when people actually land on your account and scroll through your account? And I like to say that it should feel and look like a magazine. And when I say that, I mean, you know, the enjoyment you get when you're looking at your favorite magazine should really be that kind of emotional pull that people have when they land on your Instagram account.
Beautiful. That's a great analogy because, you know, a lot of people they just see all these are just pictures, but they don't understand the impact of the pictures. They don't understand. It's kind of just like you said, like a magazine. Those pictures in the magazine draw you to buy things. And so should your Instagram account if you're going to do business. Am I on the right track with that, Sue?
Yeah, I mean, you really need to think about your feed as a whole and not just each photo. A lot of people just post on Instagram and then they check it off their to-do list as if they did their quote-unquote social media post. And you've got to have discipline on Instagram to have success on Instagram. You just can't think that because a photo looks good that you're going to get engagement. You have to make it rich, not only visually, but also in the value and the content that you share below the image in the description. And you get to have, if you want, you can use 2,200 characters in that description below the photo. So I like to call this a microblog. You can actually create a story that's relevant to the imagery or the video, because you can do videos on Instagram.
Okay. So, you know, basically you're making your own little micro magazine, so to speak, about your products and your businesses and how you can make, how they can impact somebody. So now most people say, oh, these are just pictures. How can I make a sale on Instagram? Can you explain that process for us?
Yeah, so the first thing you need to know is you can absolutely make money on Instagram. In fact, it happened to me this morning, and I'll tell you the story in a minute. But you don't lead with making money. A lot of people fail with this when they start on Instagram. They immediately start posting pictures of things that they're selling, or they try to get people to buy things. And you first need to build that know, like, and trust factor. You first need to get people to like you and trust you and see that the content that you're sharing gives value, that it entertains, inspires, educates in some way. And so you need to lead with giving value. Once you've given value and once you've grown a community, a thriving community that loves your content, you can start trying to lure people or bring people, if you will, to that one URL. So, and I typically like, to tell my clients that is where you put your landing page. That is where you give, you collect emails and create a great opt-in. And a lot of people take people right to a page where they're selling something. Again, this is where they're failing. They're leading with selling. They're not leading with giving value. So you need to make sure that wherever you take people on Instagram, that experience is mobile friendly, and that they have a good user experience if you are going to take them off of Instagram and you take them somewhere else. So some examples of what I do, I definitely switch up my URL on a regular basis. Right now on my personal account, Sue B. Zimmerman, I have a virtual ticket to Social Media Marketing World 16 where I'll be speaking soon. And I am a partner, affiliate partner. As a speaker, we get affiliate commission if people click that link and buy a virtual ticket. So I could conceivably make money, and I have, from selling a virtual ticket. And on the Experts account, which is at the Instagram Expert, I currently am taking people to my latest blog post, but typically I'm taking people to my free Instagram strategy guide. Now, the reason that I'm taking people to my blog post is because once a week we do upload a new blog, and we like to drive traffic to the blog because when we get people on our website, they will leave a comment on the blog, and we can target them with Facebook ads. So very strategic where we take people and why we choose to take people to different places. But we are always tracking that link, that custom Bitly link. And if your listeners who are tuning in don't know how to create a custom Bitly link, over on YouTube at Sue B. Zimmerman, I have a YouTube video, how to create a custom Bitly link for Instagram, so you can link that up in the show notes if you want to.
Will do. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense because, we only have that one active link. Whereas in Facebook and Twitter, all your links are active, but you have that one active link. That's where you connect. So that needs to be where your power punch is, right? And of course,
right, exactly.
I love the way you were talking about the know, like, and trust factor. A lot of people think that you should go directly into selling, but that's not always the case. You need to build. That's why we're on social media, right? You need to build the connection so that they will buy because, the hardest dollar is that very first dollar. And they're not going to give it to somebody that they don't know, like, or trust. So I love the fact that you brought that to our attention.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the story. So let me tell you the story of what actually happened this morning on Instagram. So, of course, when I wake up, the first social platform I go to is Instagram. It's where I get inspiration and often where I get my news these days. I noticed somebody commented. I noticed somebody commented on one of my posts, and it was a familiar avatar. It's someone that I've seen comment frequently, and she has a very positive vibe to her. So I went over to her account, and I left her a comment, and I saw that she definitely could use my help with a strategy session. So I said, thanks for connecting. Let me know if you want to up your Instagram game or if you want to talk with me about an Instagram strategy. And I left my cell phone number on her feed. And I typically do give away my cell phone number. It's one of the things I do, and it just takes away barriers and makes people feel like they can connect with me faster. So I connected with her. I talked with her for about 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, she's like, where do I need to sign up for a strategy session? I would love to work with you. So within 15 minutes of waking up, I got a $500 sale because that's what I charge for a strategy session. And it did not come with a lot of effort, and it did not come with a lot of selling. She already knew who I was. She already trusted me. And she knew that if she invested in doing a strategy session with me, that I would be able to help her with her Instagram marketing. So that happened in 15 minutes of waking up this morning. Seriously. Crazy, right?
Wow. Yes, that is fabulous. And, people think, that these stories, just make them up. No, these things happen. And I'm so glad that you shared that story because a lot of people are like, well, why is it not happening for me? Have you given it the time? Now, I know that I've been in a few classes of yours, and you've always said that it's going to take some time to build that momentum. So can you talk to us about the time factor, and the preparation time to get this started? Because a lot of people think it's instant.
Yeah, so sure. So you've got to become an authority in the space that you're teaching in some way. And, just doing things like what you're doing here on this podcast is building authority on another platform and maybe driving traffic back to Instagram. So people need to know that you walk the talk. Like anyone can say anything on social media. Anyone can post a photo that looks a certain way on Instagram. And, it really takes getting to know someone and believe that they are everything that they say they are and they do everything they say that they're going to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people have invested in either courses or in people, and they have not gotten the value that they signed up for. And the reason I know this is because they tell me when I talk with them is that they're hesitating because they've gotten burned before. And so trusting people becomes a little bit harder. So it's your job as the content creator or the influencer or the expert or the product developer to make sure that people are going to really trust you, and whatever you say that you're going to do, that you follow through and you actually do it. Because the worst thing is to lose somebody's trust, because once you lose it, you'll never get it back again.
Right. Most definitely. Now, when we were, you bring up a very important point because, you know, you have to build your brand. You have to build your authority. Now, about how long does that take to start building a brand? I know it happens for different people in different ways, but on average, what Instagram time does it take to start building that authority?
Well, I've been on the platform for 3 years, 24/7, and I think, you know, after a good year, I started to become known as the go-to authority in the space. And then, as you know, the more opportunities that I had to speak, the more awareness around me and my business and my brand happened. And, you know, I get interviewed on podcasts 2 to 3 times a week. So I get to talk to people all over the world on a regular basis. And the more people hear my voice or hear an interview, they trust me. And, you know, it just goes back to what we said at the very beginning. It's that trust because they've heard me on another interview, a podcast or something.
Perfect. So, I mean, you know, when business people start, you know, in small businesses, and they may not have a lot of money, so they're relying on their social media presence, you know, as far as their marketing and things of that nature. And, you know, sometimes they can get discouraged if it doesn't happen instantly. And, you know, I'm glad that you said, okay, you know, it took me a year and to get that traction, but when I got the traction, then I went, you know, you went sky's the limit after that.
Yeah, full speed ahead, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, wow, you know, but I'm glad that you're saying, you know, don't give up. You know, it may take some time, but it is worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely worth it. And so what do you say to people who are, you know, may come to your classes or maybe at your speaking engagements and they look at you and say, you know, I'm about to give up on this. This is not doing what I thought it was going to do. What encouraging words do you have to them to say to keep going?
Well, usually the reason it's not working, there's so much confusion around their Instagram feed, and they're not focused on one market or one niche. More often than not, that is the case. I mean, I get 200 new followers every day, 2,000 every month on both my accounts at Sue B. Zimmerman and at the Instagram Expert. And the number one thing that I see on a regular basis is that there's no unique theme or vibe or branding, and there's confusion. So I probably follow maybe 6 to 8 new accounts a month. I'm very selective with what I follow because I don't want to follow accounts that don't give me any kind of value. Again, going back to the value. So if I'm going to spend my time on Instagram, I'm going to want to get some kind of inspiration, education, or sometimes I follow accounts that make me laugh. I love following National Geographic. It's, you know, like looking at their magazines or the San Diego Zoo, you know, where, you know, again, there's a whole entertainment factor that you get on Instagram also.
Yes. And, you know, I've noticed what you have been doing, you know, as I follow your brand. You're using other platforms to leverage the Instagram. I think that is so phenomenal. Yeah. Please tell us about that.
I call that cross-pollination because I'm Sue B and I fly around like a busy bee. So I love Snapchat and I love Periscope and I love being able to broadcast on those channels what I'm doing. And for me, it always takes people back to Instagram because at the end of the day, that's where I grow my business. So when I go live on Periscope, I let people know on Instagram that I'm going to go live. And when I'm on Periscope, I do live audits, live Instagram audits. But in order to get an audit, you have to be on my scope, my hashtag SueBScope on the live call if you want to get an audit. So I'm able to bring people with me wherever I go. I have a huge Snapchat following too, at Sue B. Zimmerman on Snapchat, and I teach Instagram lessons there as well. So people know that no matter where they find me, they can learn more about Instagram marketing. And that's being true to who I am, true to my mission, true to my brand, true to helping other business owners have success online with the power of Instagram visual storytelling. So it all goes back to what you were saying at the beginning is, you know, having that consistent vibe and not confusing people and knowing what your strategy is and having the discipline and doing the work. And if you're overwhelmed by doing too much, then do less and don't feel like you need to be on all the latest social platforms. Just be on the ones that you like. And when I ask people what they like about Instagram, the answer I hear most frequently is Instagram's fun. I love Instagram. Then I say why, and people just feel like it's their inspiration. Like I said, it's that pause in the day. It's visual content that makes you feel good. It's a recipe. It's an exercise routine. It's a puppy. You know, it's a sunset. It's nature. It's a new blog post. There's just so many things that you can do on Instagram. And right now, there's 400 million active users as of April 2016, and I can guarantee you that any day now, Instagram's going to be announcing 500 million active users. Like, their user base is growing so fast, and when people are on Instagram, they stay there. People check it. 58% of the people on Instagram check it daily, and 79% of the people check it weekly. People just really, really enjoy the platform.
I mean, you know, and we're both avid users. I totally agree. You know, it is really a great place for you to grow your brand, to grow your business, and it's not sales, it's not sleazy. You know, like you say in your classes, you know, it's straight to the point, and you can put those blogs out there. But, you know, while we're speaking about microblogs and your classes, I do believe you have one that is coming up soon. Can you tell us about it?
Well, we have a lot of different products that we sell. We have our beginner Instagram course that's called Ready, Set, Gram. That's for anybody with under 500 followers, or they're new to Instagram, or they're turning their personal account into a business account. We are also launching our new Instagram hashtag handbook, which is going to be great. So if you're struggling with your hashtag, this is something that we created for over 35 different industries that really we extracted the power hashtags in each industry. And like I said, it's called the hashtag handbook, and that's on our website at SubiZimmerman.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, if you had a takeaway, something that any person that needed to know, the ultimate tip for using Instagram for business, what would it be?
The ultimate tip is to stand out from everyone else that does what you do and not copy what everyone else does. So it means looking at other brands to get inspiration outside of your industry. So many people copy other people that do what they do, and the best thing that you can do is really spend time looking at other people who are outside what you do.
You know, that makes perfect sense, Sue, because, you know, people are expecting what everybody else is doing in their industry, but they're not expecting what other people are doing. And you never expect to find that golden nugget in an industry that is totally unrelated. But a lot of times that golden nugget is right there. Yes.
Right. Exactly.
I love that. I love that, Sue. Can you please tell the people where to find you?
Sure. So there's a lot of places I'd love to send your listeners. Let's start with some free content. So on my website, we have a free Instagram strategy guide that you can grab. and that will help set you up for success in your business. Also, I have a Facebook group with almost 5,000 members. It's called Instagram Results with an S for your business. And I've got a great YouTube channel. Every week I upload a new video, so if you subscribe to that channel, you'll get a notification every time I go live. And what else can I tell you, group? Everyone should definitely come on over and make sure you say hello to me on Instagram. I challenge everybody to do a hashtag Subi Made Me Do It post. Use that hashtag, mention this interview, let me know that you're coming over, and I will be sure to come over to you and give you some love on Instagram when you mention this interview.
Well, thank you so much, Sue, for doing that for the audience. I definitely appreciate you for that. And as we're growing to a close, I want to say thank you so much for coming onto the show today and giving these nuggets, because, a lot of people don't necessarily get the candid access to you as you've given us today. And I just want to thank you so much for being so open and honest about these different things, because it's so nice to hear that, we can do it because Sue B does it, right?
Absolutely. Everyone can have success. You just need to have, like I said earlier, the Instagram mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if something that Sue B said to you today resonated with you, please find us on Change Your Minds Online. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Tuned In, and, of course, our YouTube channel. So definitely check out Sue B on her iTunes and also on her YouTube channel, because her tutorials are wonderful and you will get quality nuggets. And, of course, always check her out on Instagram at The Instagram Expert. Thank you so much, Sue B, for coming on. It is definitely a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm happy to be here for you, honey.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners. We appreciate you greatly. And please, if you have anything that you questions or comments or concerns from Ms. Sue B that you have been trying to work through, that she can help you out with, please go over there to Instagram and she will definitely respond, because she is an active user. So until next time, thank you, everyone. Till next time, thank you, everyone. Good night, Sue B.
Good night.
And good night, everyone.